Are you surprised by how much you're spending on groceries these days? I know sometimes it feels like we're spending like double, right? But have you wondered exactly how much more you actually are spending compared to several years ago? Well, a couple months ago, I want to say like 2 months ago, I put out a video where I compared a grocery list from 2019 at Aldi, and I went back and bought all the exact same items, and we compared everything item for item to see how much everything had gone up. Today we're going to do the same thing, but this time at Walmart. Now, the official numbers for food inflation from 2020 to 2023 are 25%. So food has gone up 25% with the official numbers. But as we saw at Aldi, for those particular items that I had on my list in 2019, I was seeing a 53% increase when I purchased them this year. So I was curious, is that just Aldi? Because Aldi has always had really low prices, but they have definitely gone up in recent years. So I was wondering, is it just Aldi that's really jumped up that high, or am I gonna see similar price increases at Walmart? So I'm taking today a list from 2020. It was a $100 grocery budget meal plan that I shared. I will link to my old meal plan. The meal plan would not feed us for 2 weeks anymore, but at the time it was a 2-week meal plan. I came in under budget, so I paid like $95 at Walmart back in 2020. So this was August of 2020. Now here we are, July 2024. So basically 4 years later, I went back to Walmart. I got all the exact same items. And so we are gonna just compare them item for item and see what things have increased, what things stay the same, whatever. And we're gonna figure out, what the inflation number is for Walmart for these items that I'm buying. What do you think? Do you think it's gonna be closer to that 25% national, I guess, average, or closer to the 53% that I saw at Aldi? I will let you know after we look at all the groceries. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you everything, and then we will talk about it. Okay, here is everything from this grocery order. As you can see, it's a pretty large grocery order. For all of this back in 2020, I paid $95.54. So I had a budget of $100 and I was able to come in just a little under that. So let's look at everything here and we'll talk about what it cost back in 2020 and what it costs now. So we'll start, I tried to kind of organize stuff here. We'll start over here with kind of the fruit, vegetables, frozen produce and stuff like that. So I have a whole list here. I'm going to try to keep the prices straight. But first of all, I got some apples, 3 pounds of apples. I paid $3.13 for these back in 2020. They were $4.18 today. Oranges were $3.24 for 3 pounds in 2020, and today they were $4.98. Let's come over here to carrots. These used to be 98 cents for just a 1 pound bag, and now they were $1.38. So just a little price increase there, not a ton. Got 2 cucumbers. These were $1 exactly back in 2020. Now they were $1.16. My romaine lettuce over here, this was $2.78. This is for the 3 hearts of romaine. They were $2.78. Now they were $3.18. And I got 2 bags of frozen veggies. These used to be, 77 cents a bag, and now they were 98 cents a bag for those. And these are the ones, like the steamable ones, which are just so convenient. I love those. Let's see. Okay, so we covered this stuff. Our potatoes, I got a 5 pound bag of potatoes. These were $2.27, and now they are $2.98, which I feel like is a great price. I know that sometimes it's more like $4 for a bag of potatoes, but right now they are a good price at Walmart, so that's good. And then tomato on the vine. Now I thought this was interesting. They increased the most. They were only $1.48 back in 2020. Now these ones cost $3.76. So that was a pretty big price increase for these tomatoes. A lot of times I'll just get the cheaper Roma tomatoes, but they definitely don't have as much flavor as these. These ones taste better. And I was trying to get exactly the same stuff that I got back in 2020 so that this would be comparable. Okay, so then moving on to the meat. I got 2 bags of frozen chicken breasts, 3 pound bags. So I got a total of 6 pounds. So for both of the bags, I paid originally $11.88. And today it was $17.52 for those. Then I got 1 pound of sausage and this was originally $2.88. Now it is $3.48. Then I needed to get 3 pounds of ground beef according to my grocery list, but I really didn't need it and I didn't want to buy it today. So I stuck this out so you could see this is 3 pounds. I already had this in the fridge, but if I had purchased it today, well, first the 2020 price was $7.98, which $7.98 for 3 pounds. Today at Walmart, that was $12.94. So definitely a really big jump on the ground beef for sure. Okay, moving on to dairy and refrigerated. I also really did not want to buy eggs today because I didn't need any. So I set this out as a placeholder. My list was for 2 dozen. So if I had purchased 2 dozen today, it would have cost me $5.36. And there's a big jump there because eggs, let's see, eggs back in 2020, 2 dozen were only $1.68 total. So that, I'm gonna straighten this here for you a little bit. That's definitely a big price jump on the eggs. Okay, shredded cheese, it's been down a little bit at Walmart lately, which I'm happy about. Not down from 2020, but it had kind of jumped up and now it's gone back down a little bit. So the shredded cheese, these are both 16 ounces. They were originally $2.77 each in 2020, and now they were $3.74. So that is still better. They were up just over $4 for a bit, but like I said, they're down to $3.74 now, so that's great. Sour cream, let's see, let's skip over this one. Our sour cream. Okay, so the price for sour cream was exactly $1 for the 16 ounce when I purchased it in 2020. Now in 2024, it was $1.97. So that has doubled, which I definitely have noticed. The sour cream seems to just is a lot more. Cottage cheese was $1.28 for a 16 ounce, and now it is $2.24. And I hardly ever buy cottage cheese, but this is for a baked ziti, which is what I got that for, and that will be yummy. Then the Greek plain Greek yogurt, the Great Value brand was $3.47 in 2020, $3.54 today. So barely a change at all there. So yay, yogurt, at least at Walmart, is the same price. Then also the milk was basically the same, not much of a jump there. 3 gallons of milk was a total of $8.31 back in 2020, and today it was $8.46. So like I said, not a big jump there. So we did our meats, our dairy. Now we're gonna go over, I kind of call this like the center of the store. All this stuff, our dry goods, stuff like that. So where are we gonna start here? The cereal, I couldn't remember the exact cereal boxes I got in 2020. I didn't say, but this is like, these are typical ones that I get, the typical sizes, and I always get the Great Value unless, you know, I'm at Kroger getting deals. So this should be comparable to what I got in 2020. For 3 boxes back then, it was $6.64. Now it was $7.31. So not a huge change, but a change. Old-fashioned oats here. Let me see if I can see how much. 42 ounces. Okay. So these were $2.67 previously, and they are now $3.98. So definitely seeing a jump in the oats. A lot of stuff here. Make sure. Okay, we're gonna go back over here. Pretzels. Pretzels were 82 cents, guys, for a bag. This size bag, a pound of pretzels were only 82 cents. I miss those prices. They have jumped up to $2.24. So pretzels have more than doubled. And graham crackers, we're gonna whoop all the way back over here. I probably should have stuck this stuff more in order. But for this box of graham crackers, they were $1 exactly back in 2020, and they are now $2.22. So again, more than doubled. So I think some of these snack products especially have just really gone up in price. So that's definitely something to watch, how many snacks you're purchasing if you're trying to save on your groceries right now. Okay, peanut butter and jelly. I just got the very smallest ones because I know that that's what I did back then for this list. So for the smallest peanut butter, it was $1.18 in 2020, and now it's $1.94. And then for the jelly, this is the cheapest jelly I could find, it was $1.33, and it is now $1.98, so almost $2 there. The applesauce, the Great Value applesauce, was $1.98 back in 2020, and it is now $3.12. So definitely seen an increase on the applesauce. Salsa, got that right here. This was $1.23. It is now $1.98, so almost $2 for that. Well, I guess it's picante sauce. I always get the picante sauce because it's not quite as chunky as the salsa, so we like that better. Okay, brown rice. I really didn't need to buy brown rice, but I wanted to show it to you guys. Okay, so this one was less. And I can't remember, I'm pretty sure this is the amount that I ordered back in 2020, the 16 ounce, just the smallest one. So back then it was $1.37. Today it was only 88 cents. So yay, something is cheaper. Brown rice, you can go buy lots of brown rice. Okay, moving on to some of our canned goods. Okay, black beans. I got 2 cans of these. I guess here's the other one. Those were $1.16 for the 2 together. Now they were $1.72 today. Then I got 1 can of pinto beans. They were 58 cents. Today they were 86 cents. Then Rotel, where's that? Right here. We'd always just get the off-brand, the diced tomatoes with the green chilies. This was 98 cents back in 2020, and today it was 96 cents. So there you go, another thing that's gone down in price. You can have your Rotel, your off-brand Rotel with your brown rice, and you'll be saving money from 4 years ago. Okay, so refried beans. These were 78 cents back in 2020, and now they are $1. So a little increase there. Got 2 of these packets of taco seasoning mix. Now normally I get, I like to get a bigger thing, so I'm not just buying the little packets, but this is what we did for this one, for this grocery list, so I wanted to get them. It was 88 cents for the 2 of them back in 2020, and today it was 94 cents. Then I got a box of ziti pasta. This is for that baked ziti that I'm gonna be making. The pasta has gone up from 82 cents to 98 cents. Not a huge jump. I'm glad that it's still under $1 for the great value. So that still seems pretty good. Now the pasta sauce has taken a jump. I know that, I believe I bought it at Aldi too in that other video, and we saw that jump there. But the pasta sauce was under $1. It was only 88 cents for their, basic great value. And now it is $1.67. I remember that used to be more the price of like Ragu or the name brand ones. So I don't even know how much they are now because I always buy the store brand. But there you go. Okay, hamburger buns. Now these, you'll see, these are Kroger. These were in my freezer. Since I already had them, I didn't want to buy more, but I wanted to at least show you. So just pretend these are Walmart ones. And the Walmart buns were 88 cents back in 2020, and they are now, let's see, $1.46. So almost $1.50 now for those. And then tortillas, also, I just grabbed these out of my pantry, but if I'd purchased them today from Walmart, the tortillas would have been $1.98, and they were previously $1.48. So what's that, 50 cents more for the package of tortillas. This is 10 tortillas. We are almost done here. I don't have, I forgot to set out my tostadas. Let's see, yeah, we don't have our tostadas set out. Those were on the list. So a package of tostadas back in 2020, they were $1.98. They are now $2.58. We actually ate the ones that I had up for dinner tonight. So that's why they're not here. I forgot about that. But yeah, so those have gone up a bit. French bread was $1 back in 2020, and it's $1 now. It went up to about $1.50, I think, for a little bit, but Walmart has lowered that price back down. So that's happy. It's nice to just be able to grab one of these if I don't feel like making homemade and know that it's only $1. So that's nice. Whole wheat bread. This is just the basic great value whole wheat. It's like not the best bread ever, but it's fine for when you just need some whole wheat bread. This was for 2 loaves. It was $2.96 back in 2020. Today it is $3.94. And then I think the only thing I missed was this pita bread over here, which I haven't bought pita bread in forever actually, but it was on that list in 2020. So we got it today. It was $2.50 back then. Today it was $2.93. Okay, so I think that covers everything here on my list. So like I said, back in 2020, all of this was $95.54. And today it cost $134.24. So I'm going to flip the camera back around and we will talk about what percentage of price increase that was and everything else. Okay, so back in 2020, I spent $95.54, and now in 2024, I spent $134.24. So in case you can't do that math in your head, that is a 40% price increase. So I'm not seeing quite as high as I saw at Aldi, but it's still definitely higher than that national average, which is interesting. And it's going to be different around the country. So maybe here in Texas, it has gone up more than in some places. So let me know if you are seeing similar price increases where you live or if it hasn't been as drastic for you. For us here in Texas, if we're talking about a 40% price increase, if you normally spent $200 a week on groceries back in 2020, now you would be spending $280. And then if you multiply that out, say you're spending $80 extra a week, if you do 80 times 52, let's see, I wrote it down, it would be $4,162 extra a year, which that really makes it kind of sink in like, wow, I do need to budget more for groceries. That's a good amount more. So why am I telling you all this? I just find it really interesting. And I had a lot of comments on my past video, and some people were kind of pushing back a little bit like, you know, don't complain, inflation is normal, why are you just complaining? And I guess I'm not doing this to complain. Like, I do expect there to be some inflation. It has definitely been more, as I think we all realize, in these past few years, but I think just being aware of it can help us to plan better. Realizing, okay, I'm gonna have to put a little more into, either put a little bit more into the food budget, or I'm gonna have to cut back a little bit. And I'm gonna be doing a video soon about things that you can cut from your grocery budget if you want to get that bill down lower. So we will talk more about that in another video. I don't wanna go into all that now, but yeah, I just thought it was interesting to compare my grocery lists and just to see what those price increases have been. And hopefully, you know, we're gonna kind of stable out and we'll stay at these prices for a while. We'll see, who knows. Okay guys, thanks so much for being here today. If you missed the 2019 price comparison video, I'll be sure to link that in the description box. But other than that, I think that's it for today. I will see you in my next video. Bye.